Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. We got the podcast going, and I actually finished the intro without fucking it up for the first time
Let's
in like
go.
4 weeks. But anyways, Nate is gonna start us off again with some movie news, so let's hand it over to him.
Yeah, guys, a couple things. The Spider-Man Noir TV series has just started filming, starring Nicolas Cage. So I'm actually
Is
really
that
excited
live
about
action
that.
or
It is
animated?
live. It is live action in black and white.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for that. I hope it's at least decent.
yeah.
Scream 7 release date got announced for February 27th, 2026.
Really, that's pretty soon considering they like shot their lead actress in the head like a month ago.
I mean, yeah, per Neve Campbell herself, it's releasing February 27th, 2026.
Oh, Patrick Dempsey's in the cast. Let's go.
Nice.
He's a
Daniel Day-Lewis has come out of retirement.
hell yeah, my favorite actor.
He is one of the greatest actors. 7 years in retirement,
Oh wow.
and I don't know. I don't know what project made him come out of it, but I bet it's got to be like the greatest movie of all time.
No, it's just a movie directed by his son.
Oh, the one that he abandoned.
Maybe it might be another one.
I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy.
Oh my god! All right, this is the one that I was the most excited about for this week. Stranger Things 5. The trailer drops November 6th.
They got a trailer release date, dude. Just hurry up already. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
I
they gotta keep the hype going somehow.
We got a trailer at least. All right.
I'm so excited for this one. I love Stranger Things.
I think season 4 is elite, so hoping
Yeah,
season 5 keeps up that quality.
if it's half as good as season 4, it'll be a great season.
Yeah, if it's as good as season 3, season 3 is the best season. So
I disagree.
No, I think it's the worst.
I don't think it's the worst, but it's not the best.
Season 2 literally exists.
Yeah, season 2 is the worst in my opinion.
Hot take. I think season 2 is better than 3, but it's close between those. In all honesty, though, they're both not that.
No, there's no bad season of Stranger Things, but one of them has to be the worst.
Yeah. Like Breaking Bad. There's no bad season of Breaking Bad.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it.
Well, okay. We shouldn't even put Stranger Things and Breaking Bad in the same sentence, though. To be fair, because every Breaking Bad season is like above an 8 out of 10. Meanwhile, the worst season of Stranger Things is probably like a 6.5 or something like that, or 6.
That is fair.
And then for the third time on the Uncut podcast, we have an in memoriam, Ken Page, who lent his voice to the Oogie Boogie Man in Nightmare Before Christmas, has died.
Mm-hmm. He's also in Kingdom Hearts.
He is in Kingdom Hearts. But he's still the Oogie Boogie Man, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing I know him from off the top of my head. I'll look at his
I think he was in like All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah, that sounds like something he would be in.
He was a big Broadway guy. I know he wasn't like huge in like movies. He has a pretty small filmography, I think.
Yeah, I'll take a look real quick while we're still talking about it. Yeah, it's not much. Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yep, Kingdom Hearts 2. He was in the original Cats movie from '98.
Which isn't great, but it's better than the new one.
That is true. But yeah, he hasn't really done much on film or even on TV at that point that I would know.
Yeah,
but he was really big on Broadway for a while. But that was everything that I had for this week.
Question, so I don't butcher this name. I'd rather have Nate do it than me.
Oh God.
How do you pronounce the dude's name from Cobra Kai?
Which one?
The Mexican one.
Oh, Cholo?
Yeah, how do you pronounce his last name?
uh,
Ooh.
Oh, that's a nice name.
let me look it up because I honestly don't know what it is.
I don't either. Anyways, that guy. He was cast.
Marie Duena.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Close enough.
He has been cast in the Nova Disney Plus series, which I hate Marvel Disney Plus series, but that one actually looks like it might be good because that's a good casting. I really like that casting a lot.
Well,
I also really
the show,
like Nova.
the show will probably still suck, but at least the actor might be decent.
Yeah, but at least it's not something like Secret Invasion. I'll at least check this out.
It'll be bad, but it won't be Secret Invasion.
I don't think it can be. I started watching Secret Invasion just so I could see how bad it was, and I didn't make it past the second episode.
That's not good.
And I watched some terrible shit.
I don't think I even finished episode 1.
Yeah,
so I
you
remember
like
out of
Fury.
curiosity, I was just like after episode or going into Secret Invasion, I was just like, all right, I haven't watched a Marvel show in a while, but let's see how bad they've gotten. And then I couldn't even finish episode 1.
I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I knew it was gonna be bad, but like I'll give it one more episode, see if it gets any better, and it didn't.
It didn't. Also, Andy Serkis will be in the new Venom movie. He's playing Null, God of Symbiotes, which is a new character that I didn't know existed until I talked to one of my friends.
Did they make him up or?
No, he's not made for the movie, but he's a relatively new comic character.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he debuted around the early 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good sign when you're getting a comic. I don't think that's a good sign when you're taking a comic character that was like just invented in the past decade. But
yeah, but he's probably gonna be mocapped and just a voice, and I mean it's Andy Serkis doing mocap, so
that's true.
It'll be fun.
I mean, Miles Morales only came out in 2011, and those movies are fantastic.
Yeah, that is true.
That's true, but I
just
don't like the Venom movies though.
Yeah, Null's first appearance was in Thor: God of Thunder #6 in March of 2013.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Miles is the exception, not the rule. But the Venom movies are all. Nate, I know you like them. They're all bad, but they're all fun bad.
They're horrible.
They're not good movies, but they're fun.
No, but they're all fun bad. So I think this will be a fun bad movie, and I think Andy Serkis will chew the scenery the whole time, and I think it'll be fun.
I mean, yeah, when you have Andy Serkis, the king of motion capture, doing another motion capture character.
Mm-hmm. After playing the Batman, or he didn't play Batman, he played Alfred. Andy Serkis is Batman.
Yes.
My favorite Batman, Andy Serkis.
Better than Christian Bale and Robert Pattinson.
Two pretty big shows on Netflix actually got cut this week. Moving into the next thing on news, the Chucky show will not be renewed for, I believe it'd be a 4th season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that show sucked.
Yeah, it's the Chucky. What do you expect? And I mean, that 90s show.
I did see that actually.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really care, but
I mean, the best character from that 70s show is not in that show. Granted, for good reason. But
yeah, for very good reason. No, you don't know what happened, right?
What?
All right. God, what's the actor's name?
Here, I'll explain it. So Danny Masterson walked up to this girl and was like, "Want to have sex?" And she said no, and he said yes, and then he went to prison.
Yeah, pretty much.
He said no, and he said anyways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think he was 30 years to life in prison.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
I'm gonna drop a picture of his mugshot real quick so you can see how scummy this guy looks.
Granted, Hyde's the best character in that 70s show. You know what's so about a year back I was doing that 70s show rewatch because it is one of my favorite like early 2000s comedy shows. I love it. That he makes a really like in the third episode, he makes a really, really uncomfortable rape joke. Like now knowing what we know.
Andy Masterson does.
Yeah, he's like trying to vinyls, how they have like the slide protector.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to put the vinyl in the slide protector. And he's like, get in there. And he's like, nah. And I'm like, all right, yeah. That didn't need me.
Yeah, Noah, take a look at this as mugshot, and you'll pretty much know how scummy this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
You said
the guy to commit that crime.
Yeah, it's he's not a good dude. Not a very good fella.
Good actor though.
Yeah. Do we have anything else for this? I kind of wanted to talk about some.
Go for it. If you have anything, if you don't have anything else.
All right, yeah. I just want to talk about Megalopolis from Francis Ford Coppola, with how much of a bomb it was at the box office. So this dude has spent so long with this project, and it's like his big dream project or whatever. And the budget was let me look this up right here, 120 million, and it has made back after a week in theaters $7.5 million, guys. Wow. So, guys, I think it's safe to say that this movie's not making its money back.
What do you mean? You just gotta trust.
Also, to add on to that a little bit, Joker 2 came out yesterday and has already made more money.
Yeah.
And Joker 2
not by much. Not by
Joker
much.
2 is bad, though.
It didn't make much more money, but it made more money.
That's the important part.
Yeah, Joker 2 made more money, but it's still falling flat at the box office right now.
Yeah, it's sitting at 20 million right now. Which for opening day, that's granted not terrible.
Yeah.
I really want to we talked about this before we started recording. I want to read the most recent review of Megaopolis on Letterbox.
And then read the second one as well.
Okay, I'll read the first two. I have them both up. The most recent review of Megaopolis is a 0.5 star, and it says that shit sucked Megacoculus. Oh, dude, this is a long one. All right, I'll read the whole thing.
Right. No, you just gotta read the
whole thing.
First sentence.
The first sentence. We don't need to spend as much time on Megaopolis.
And the star rating.
Or not.
I'm reading through this because I think this person's just an. No,
schizophrenic.
No, this is like an ironic 5-star review. Okay.
Oh.
Perfect. Oh, it makes it actually so much better.
It says y'all are wrong. You gotta go into the movie the same way as Francis Ford Coppola, blazed out of your fucking mind. You gotta meet him on the same plane, the same level of thinking, hitting the cart 6 times before entering the showing, like I did. That and only then will you find out this movie is the best anti-drug PSA ever. Oh, this is a 24 frames of Nick review. Oh shit, this is a pretty big YouTuber.
Oh, it is. I didn't even realize that was him.
This movie genuinely made me want to avoid weed for as long as I live. If this movie is any indication of what smoking for 2 years straight has done to my mind, then holy shit, I'm fucking scared sober. I'm reading this whole thing now.
No, please don't.
Yes, I need to read it. I need this now.
All right.
You want to hear the whole thing, Noah?
Yes.
I've been overruled.
How long is it? Wait a second. I need to look.
I got about 2 more paragraphs. I can read quick. There are unbelievable levels of self-sucking here. To you know what I respect. To push your life to get your dream project done is absolutely admirable, even if the final product is doo-doo. I'm sorry, my bad. To put an end to your regrets as you reach the finish line of life by completing your final dream. For that very reason, I have to applaud a man so driven to see it through, even if it makes absolutely no sense to hundreds of millions that are, and then quotes. It says, "Not watching this movie. Everything just makes no sense. There's Microsoft PowerPoint title cards. The acting is so inconsistently directed. The ending just happens like they accidentally deleted a scene. I found myself thoroughly entertained by the sheer level of insanity on display with a budget that only a psycho would put their money against. This shit is ass, but I laugh. But also not ass and endearing. I don't know. Maybe 5 stars ironic. Maybe they're not. You'll never know. Also, the CGI reminded me of a Ninja Sex Party music video. Also, Francis Ford Coppola would love Epcot." Shout out Nick.
Shout out Nick.
Anyway, maybe we should consider talking about the actual movie now.
Anyways, guys, The Thing.
Anyway, yeah, we're doing The Thing today.
Greatest body horror movie of all time.
I don't know, man. Human Centipede 3 would like to talk to you.
Oh God.
Maybe that should be our bad movie this month.
No, I'm not watching Human
Centipede. We've committed to Jason X.
You're right. We can't replace Jason X. But
God.
Yeah, Nate, let's consider leading this episode here.
All right, let's dial it back a little bit. So yeah, we did The Thing this for our kickoff to the month of horror. And as far as horror movies go, I think we're starting this one off with a bang.
Mm-hmm. Next week will be better, but yes, we are starting with a good movie.
Well, Noah and I both have not seen Hereditary, so I can't make that claim.
I'm already making the claim that Hereditary will not be better than this, just because vibes.
Just off of vibes.
Hereditary doesn't give me the vibe that I'm gonna give it higher than The Thing. I mean, I gave this pretty high. I'm not gonna spoil the rating yet, but
yeah, Noah rated this very highly, and we'll get to our ratings at the end. But he's higher than me, and I've gone on record saying that this is my favorite horror movie of all time. So for me to pick a movie and not only glaze it myself, but have someone else glaze it more, that warms my heart a little bit.
Yeah, Fury still sucks though. But
all right. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about for this one is the special effects. I think that's like the biggest part of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like the story, it's an 80s horror movie. The story is simple. There's not much going on. Not much is going on. Like you could pretty much turn your brain off and enjoy the monster horror. But
I don't know about that. I feel like this is a movie you have to think about a little bit.
Yeah, at the end, but we'll get there.
Definitely more than like a Friday the 13th or a Halloween.
Or yeah,
Friday the 13th sucks though. So at the first one, I'm saying.
Oh, the first one, yeah.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
The first one is just some like 50-year-old lesbian killing people in a summer camp.
Yeah. With more horrific acting.
Counterpart, Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. That's the only reason that it's about like 2 stars for me. It would be 1 star without him.
But counterpoint, the fourth one has Crispin Glover.
I have no idea who that is.
You don't know who? He's in your fucking favorite movie.
Crispin Glover?
He plays George McFly in Back to the Future.
I don't know the actor's name that plays George McFly.
It's your favorite movie.
I don't know the whole cast on the back of my hand.
Nah, you gotta know the entire cast, bro. Come on.
All right,
you gotta know
Ryne should know the entire cast of Goodfellas.
Yeah, because Goodfellas has an iconic ass cast. Joe Pesci, fucking Ray Liotta, and God, I'm blanking on his name.
You don't even know Robert De Niro, bro. Come on.
Listen, I just woke up. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, we're gonna retitle this "Bullying Nate."
Hey guys, welcome back to the Bullying Nate
Bullying
podcast.
The Thing, in quotations, Nate.
Welcome to this episode where we bully Nate. And the Thing is mentioned sometimes in here too.
This
All right, getting back
podcast is
on track here. Sorry, go ahead.
This podcast is increasingly throughout the weeks become less and less about movies and more about bullying Nate.
Yep.
You know, I think we don't talk about the actual movies anymore. We just talk about literally anything else.
20 minutes in, and we're just getting on the thing. And you guys won't even let me talk about it.
All right. You don't talk about it. Let's go.
So the thing, Jesus Christ. So I wanted to talk about the special effects. This is some of the most impressive use of puppetry that I've seen in almost any movie. That can at least comes to mind, because the only thing that I could say would be better was The Dark Crystal, and of course that's going to be better because it's a Jim Henson movie. But no, sorry, go ahead.
The difference between The Thing and The Dark Crystal is The Thing is a good movie.
Yeah.
I never claimed The Dark Crystal was a good movie. I just said it had really impressive puppetry.
Yeah. But Jim Henson made Fraggle Rock, so he's the greatest literary mind of all time, even though he didn't write books.
Fraggle Rock mentioned?
Dude, Fraggle Rock's better than the Muppets. I'd say what I said. I don't give a shit.
We're starting off hot this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the way that they use puppetry and the way that each iteration of, like, quote unquote The Thing is modeled after the actual actor, I think it's probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen in a horror movie.
It's pretty impressive.
And like everything in this, it's like, this is a body horror movie. I'm gonna come out. I don't know if that's the way that people would classify it. That's how I'm classifying it. It's body horror, and it is just so grotesque in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
The scene that comes to mind immediately when I talk about it is the kennel scene, when the Thing goes to the kennel and turns from a dog into the Thing, and like that shit is
the dog.
Terrifying. It is terrifying.
Confession time. I've seen this movie enough times, and I'm not a big advocate of animal murder. I skip past that scene. On subsequent rewatches.
Fair. But, and no, I don't know if you feel the same way, but the scene where the Thing goes into the kennel with the other dog is the most terrifying shit I've ever seen in a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get scared. Like, I mean, I guess I wasn't scared, but it was just like pretty disturbing scene right there.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Maybe disturbing is a better word for it, but I'm going to continue to call it terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess it could be both terrifying and disturbing at the same time. You can feel both.
The way that every time the Thing shows up, like these little like spaghetti tendril things come out of it. Like, I did a little bit of research for this, so it tried to take a lot of influence from Alien.
Mm-hmm.
From 1979, I believe that came out. 78.
I think it was 77.
Right.
I feel like that's right.
I think it was like 78. I don't know, it was around that time.
Late 70s. Right. Late 70s. So the original Thing monster was supposed to basically be a facehugger from Alien.
Ooh.
And they went away from that. I'm really glad that they did, because it differentiated itself from Alien. And I just think this is so much better. Like, the xenomorphs in Alien, they're cool. Those are cool monsters. And the effects done in that are also very well done. But this, I feel like this, like, elevated that. But yeah, I really loved the special effects. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add that I might have missed.
Shout out, fuck, I just had his name. What's his name? Rob Bottin. That's the guy who did the special effects for this movie. Which
Rob Bottin, yeah, shout out that guy, because you did fantastic.
Well, he also did the special effects on Total Recall, which also has good special effects.
It does also have good. The original or the shitty remake?
The original.
Okay. But yeah, special I mean, you know it's good. I've talked about the special effects for almost 7 minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is fantastic. Like when sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I gotta think about how I want to say this. So you go.
Okay. Have either of you? I thought about watching it, but I decided not to. Did either of you guys watch The Thing from Another World? 'Cause that's technically
no, but this is so yeah. So this movie is technically a remake of that.
yeah.
And no, I have not seen it, but I will add it to the list because if it's anywhere near as good as this movie, then it'll be a solid 8 out of 10.
There's also a book about it. I forgot who goes there. What's the name of the book?
Yeah, this is not only a remake, but the original movie itself was also based off of a book.
And they say Hollywood has no new ideas.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think other than Halloween, John Carpenter's created his own villain. I can't think of anything off the top of my head other than Michael Myers. I also haven't seen much of his filmography, though, to be completely honest.
Yeah, he doesn't really do a lot. Hey, he made the guy from Season of the Witch, the third Halloween movie.
Oof. He made Big Trouble in Little China, which Mortal Kombat ripped off. So I guess you can give John Carpenter credit for Mortal Kombat.
I guess.
Yeah, this movie has great special effects. I was gonna say something else, but I lost my train of thought, and I didn't really know how I was gonna say it. So we'll get to it later if I think of it.
I always mix up John Carpenter and Wes Craven, like, all the time. Which I'm sad I won't be here to do our first ever Wes Craven movie, because he is my favorite horror director.
I mean, yeah, him and John Carpenter, in my opinion, are the two greatest horror directors of all time.
I think he's only come out with a few movies, but I think Ari Aster has to be up there too at this point.
What has he done?
Hereditary, Midsummer.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of those, so I can't. I'll take your word for it that they're good movies, but I can't say that I've seen them.
Well, next week you'll find out. Hereditary.
Yeah. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I don't think it counts as a shameless plug if it's on your own podcast.
No, it definitely does.
Are there any other like super big horror directors that I can't think of? Oh, George Romero. That's a big one. We gotta mention him.
Yeah, and this is just my take on it. I don't think zombie movies should be considered horror.
That's fair. We might be kind of idiots. We might be fucking dumb idiot stupid heads. Alfred Hitchcock? No, Alfred Hitchcock's great.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock is great, but I don't think any of his movies are better than we've seen from Wes Craven or John Carpenter.
I don't think I've seen a single Hitchcock.
Hitchcock made Psycho. I'm pretty sure
he did.
Yeah, he did. That's on my watch list.
Rear Window.
Psycho's good, but
I think Rear Window's better than anything John Carpenter made. No, Wes Craven though.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say that. I can't agree or disagree.
That's fair. James Wan, he's a pretty good horror director. He made such horror hits as Aquaman and Aquaman 2.
Oh, we can't forget David Ayer, who made Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's a fucking horror movie right there.
Or was it Blink was the other one?
You mean Bright?
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
No,
You knew what I meant.
I think I know who the greatest horror director of all time is. Valerie Brayman, who directed Going Overboard.
Heat Rose.
What's his name? Sam Raimi. He made the best.
Oh yeah.
The best of
Yeah,
all time,
Sam
Evil
Raimi's a
Dead
good
2.
one. Sam Raimi's a good one. I would put Craven and Carpenter over him though.
Yeah, but I just want to shout out Evil Dead 2 because it's a pretty groovy movie.
Sam Raimi, a lot of his movies aren't. His movies also have fantastic special effects. He does a lot of really good special effects.
Yeah, except Evil Dead 1. Go watch Evil Dead 1.
I won't.
It had a budget of like $3. I actually want to see it before we get back to fucking. The Evil Dead had a budget of $375,000. Which, if you know anything about movies, that's nothing.
I mean, you got to think about the time too. It came out what year did it come out?
81. That's still nothing.
81. So it would have filmed in 80 or 79.
Yeah.
So we'll say 79 for argument's sake. So $300,000 now is about 1.3 million, which isn't a lot, but
yeah.
Anyways, back to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So with good special effects, obviously that can only take you so far. You need to at least have decent acting, which I think the actors in this film surpass that standard. Kurt Russell obviously is the standout for me.
Yeah.
The way he kind of like, as soon as everything starts to go down, he like straight up goes cabin fever mode.
He shoots a dude in the head.
Well, yeah, but that was later. Like, I'm talking about like immediately, like they lock up Dr. Blair and like he immediately, like, nobody is trustworthy.
Shout out Wilford Brimley.
Shout out Wilford Brimley. Who did he play?
The doctor.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right here. I'm an idiot.
That's the guy. If you've ever seen that commercial where he's like, "I got diabetes," that's that dude.
But yeah, rest in peace to him. He didn't die recently, but rest in peace anyway.
Yeah, well, it was decently recent. Oh fuck, it was 5 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, Kurt Russell was obviously the standout. Keith David, shout out to him. He did a fantastic job as well. I kind of liked the dynamic. Movie. Yeah, I mean, yeah, another Keith David movie. But I did really enjoy the dynamic between Russell and David. They kind of had this like, not so much enemy, but like rival vibe to them. Like you could tell that they don't like each other. Then you've got some other like minor characters, like T.K. Carter played Knowles, who kind of didn't really do much.
Up and then dies.
Yeah, he was kind of just there. I mean, shout out to him. He made it to the end of the movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and then Clark, who was just like the dog guy, and he really didn't do much either. So other than, there was like 4 main characters for me, like that actually did stuff. There was McCready, Blair, Childs, and Windows. Even though Windows died pretty early on.
I think it's so funny that there's a Windows and a Mac in this movie, even though it's like
complete coincidence. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, it is a little funny. But yeah, so those are kind of like the 4 big characters. I mean, like Dr. Copper does a couple things. Gary does a couple things. Bennings pretty much dies right away, so he's not there. Norris is there kind of as a plot device. But
yeah. He has the stupidest fucking death I've ever seen in a movie.
Norris. Not really.
Yeah, he just gets a fucking heart attack.
But no, he was already the thing.
Well,
He was
yeah.
already the thing at that
He was
point.
already yeah, and
Oh,
then he
yeah.
like did all that transforming stuff or whatever, and they had to burn him.
Yeah, so like I don't think it was a hard, like maybe that could have expedited it, but he was already a thing. Like he was the thing
Yeah.
already.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that each of these characters like interact, like you could tell very early on that nobody trusted anybody. Like in the film, not as like the actors themselves. And each actor portrayed that very well. Like everybody looked suspicious of everybody.
Technically, right, Knowles could still be alive. We don't see him die.
Yeah, I guess, but we also don't see Gary die. And we don't. No, they're both dead because the fucking base would have blown up on top of them.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nah, they survived.
They survived.
It's just like somehow they survived.
Somehow Knowles returned. But a little tangent here. So apparently in 2002 they released a sequel video game to The Thing, which is considered canon.
It's pretty good. I've played it before.
So I'll kind of get into that a little. Sorry, did you guys hear anything I just said?
I heard get into it a little bit, and then you cut out after that.
All right, yeah. We'll get in. I want to get into that, like the tie-in game. Once you start talking about like the final scene, because there's a lot in the game that kind of ties into that. Because the game is per John Carpenter considered canon to the story.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a pretty good game too. For I mean, it's an early 2000s
Movie tie-in game.
So, yeah, but hey, don't you ever disrespect the Godfather game again? That is one of my favorite games I've ever played.
I didn't know there was a Godfather game.
Yeah. So before you sit here and start calling out all movie tie-in games, just know.
I didn't say like they're just notoriously bad.
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you.
It's the industry standard.
Yeah. But the Thing game is, I wouldn't say it's like high art, but it's pretty passable. It's fun.
Passable. All right. I do kind of want to get into like the actual story and go scene by scene, just because there's so much. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good. No, go ahead. Where's
do you
the
want to
joke?
talk about? No, this isn't a joke. It's an actual thing. Bold of you to assume I'm just gonna make a ha funny joke here. No, do you want to talk about what happens at the game at the end? Because what happens at the game is pretty much only important at the end of the story.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So it starts off with so before I get into this, they made a whole prequel about what led into the opening event of this movie, which I've not seen.
I can speak on it for a minute. I've seen it.
I've heard it's not amazing.
In terms of so you have to remember the era it came out in. 2008 to 2012 is like the dark age of horror, where we got like that shitty Friday the 13th remake, the shitty Nightmare on Elm Street remake, the shitty Scream movie. A lot of bad horror movies. It's fine. It's not like abhorrently bad. It's fine. I think it does just enough to cement itself as a prequel and like improve its spot, you know?
That is fair. So a lot of the appeal to this movie for me is like the mystery aspect to it. Like everything in this movie is a mystery. And adding all this background story to what led into the first movie, it kind of like ruins it for me personally.
That's fair. But counterpoint, Owen Lars is in the thing, so
That is true. I did look at the cast, and the cast did look pretty good. I think Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Winstead's in it as well.
Yeah, she plays Kate.
So like the cast is good for this movie, but the fact that it kind of takes away some of that mystery surrounding the movie, surrounding the original in the first place, it doesn't so much like ruin the film for me, but it definitely takes away some of the appeal.
I'm actually on the opposite end of the spectrum from you. Kind of. I don't know how I feel about the ambiguity of this movie.
Okay, and we'll get into that for sure because I definitely want this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just kind of like speed running through the actual story here. So it starts off. There's this Norwegian helicopter. They're pursuing the Thing, which is disguised as a dog right now, and they're shooting at the Thing. They find the Outpost 31, which is the American outpost in Antarctica. This whole movie takes place in Antarctica.
No, I thought it was in Florida.
Thanks, Noah.
This whole movie takes place in Tampa.
Yeah.
Rip Gabe.
Yeah, shout out to Gabe. Shout
out Gabe. He loves this movie, but he didn't want to hop on the podcast.
Yeah, but let's hope he's doing well during his snowstorm.
Snowstorm? His avalanche?
Bro's probably freezing right now.
Oh God. But yeah, so they're chasing the dog Thing, and it gets to this American outpost, and it kind of like takes shelter in the Americans, just waiting to find its next victim.
Inside of the Americans?
Inside of the outpost.
I remember like just watching this like early on. They were just shooting at the dog, and I was like, "What did this dog do to piss him off so much?" Like, bro, was bro a bad boy or something? Yeah, I was so confused. It's like, wait a second, why are you in a helicopter shooting at a dog right now?
I will say though, so and this was the consensus on the set of this movie as well. That dog was very convincing as a dog, but also not as a dog at the same time.
Maybe they actually had the Thing on set.
I mean, maybe, but like that was like
what the fuck?
The dog was great. The dog was great.
Sorry, boys.
The dog was the best actor.
I mean, he might have been.
For some reason, totally on nothing to do with the podcast. Fucking my bench wide receiver in fantasy decided to get suspended for skipping practice.
Wait, Romeo Dobbs, isn't it?
Yeah, Romeo
Dobbs.
Anyway, yeah, shout out Romeo Dobbs for being an idiot.
Shout out Romeo Dobbs.
Shout out, bro.
But yeah, so the dog is taking shelter in Outpost 31, and McCready, who's the main character, played by Kurt Russell, and the doctor, they go to investigate where the Norwegians were doing their research, and they uncover their research. They find a dead guy with like frozen blood and his throat slit open. They find a charred corpse, quote unquote, of a Thing, like sort of like mid transformation. And they bring it back and they perform an autopsy, and that kind of kicks off the plot here. So all these characters, they're all like, it's Antarctica in the 1980s. They're doing research. They're done for the day. They're just kind of hanging out in the rec room, and Clark, who is the sled guy, the guy that takes care of the dogs and everything like that, he has to take the other dog, or the dog thing, into the kennel with the real dogs. And we kind of talked about this scene already a little bit. That's the first like moment we see the thing when it starts to transform from a dog into this like grotesque alien creature. There's like vines coming out of its there's vines coming out of its body, and it starts to absorb the other dogs. So all the characters, they come and they incinerate this thing. And we see one of them kind of like shoot out through the top of the roof and kind of get away. And this is what starts like, and this movie is, I kind of hate it now just because I love the movie, but I hate the culture around this movie because everybody that watches this movie is just like, oh, this.
You just cut out there, yeah.
All right, what was the last thing you guys heard? Sorry.
You hate the culture around this movie.
Yeah, so the culture around the movie now in like 2024, anybody that sees this for the first time is like, oh, so this is Among Us.
Holy shit, it's Among Us!
I did not think that. This is my first watch of this movie, if you didn't know. So
Noah's the exception,
that did not come to mind for me. I haven't thought about Among Us in years, so that's probably why. I think that just burned into the depths of my memory because the dark days of 2020 are
actually
the
first time I watched this movie in like 2016, that was actually my like first thought. I'm like, holy shit, this is Among Us. And then I made the hit game Among Us, and it came out 4 years later.
Nice.
Yeah. What an incredible revelation here. Ryne made Among Us.
Yeah, how do you think I fund this podcast?
Yeah. Because we use a lot of money on
all the funding we have.
Yeah, with all the professional equipment we've got.
Yeah, so a lot of the culture surrounding this movie now, at least from what I've seen on the internet, is a lot of people just say, oh, this is just like Among Us, but from the 80s. And I hate that because this movie is so much better than Among Us. But at the same time,
personally, I enjoy Among Us more.
At the same time, it's not entirely a false claim because they are very similar. But so Dr. Blair's doing his research, and he becomes suspicious of Clark, and that kind of kicks off the whole "don't trust anybody" thing. So, and that's kind of like the rest of the movie is kind of like not much happens other than people die.
I mean that's some big events, people dying.
Yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like story wise, there isn't much story here. Yeah, so Dr. Blair locks himself away, or they lock Dr. Blair away because he went crazy. And they start just trying to figure out who is who. So the original set of suspects, ironically, none of them were actually the Thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, isn't it set up like the dude that loves the dogs? That it was kind of set up at first to be him because he was always around the dogs, but and I was like right away like, oh, he's gonna be one of them that's like the Thing imitates or whatever, but he actually turned out to be innocent, but he got shot in the head anyway. So
yeah, tough for him. So the first like 3 set of suspects was Clark, which was the dog guy, Dr. Copper, and Gary, who's like the old cop looking dude.
Mm-hmm. It is Gary, just to let you know.
Yeah.
What?
That's who it is.
It's not Gary.
No,
yeah,
it is.
Wait, no. It's not. Did bro not watch the blood test scene, which I want to talk about, but obviously we'll get there. But that was one of my favorite scenes.
We'll get there in a second. Sorry, go ahead, Ryne.
I actually rewrote the Thing and made the Thing 2011, and it is retroactively Gary now.
I'm gonna make the Thing 2024 where
everybody is the Thing.
No, I'm the Thing, and I go and terrorize everybody here, just for fun.
Sorry, I'm an idiot. I meant to say Palmer's the one who gets infected
Yes,
first.
who was not one of the original suspects.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But so the reason that those three were suspects, so Clark obviously because he was the closest with the dogs alone. And then Dr. Copper and Gary, so Fuchs, who was like another biologist guy, he dies pretty early on. He came up with an idea to do a blood test before McCready came up with one, using the blood samples that they had in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Those samples were Gary because he had the key, and Dr. Copper because he does the research on it. So those two were suspects for that reason. Clark was a suspect because he had close proximity to the dog alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then none of them turned out to be the Thing, ironically. It was Palmer the whole time. But then we get to it was McCready, I believe Childs was with them, and I think Windows. They go outside because they're looking for Fuchs.
Yep.
They see his body, and Childs and McCready go up to McCready's like shack. They call it. It's just like his room because the lights were on in there. And then Childs comes back. McCready crashes through a window, threatens to blow everybody up, and pretty much takes control here.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, that's kind of when we get into the other blood test scene, which I think, Noah, you said you wanted to talk about that, so I'll kind of let you go here.
Oh yeah, where it's like they burn the little thingy and try and do that.
Yeah, where they
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I completely forgot about a whole other scene before. This is the scene before when Dr. Copper or when Norris starts to have a heart attack. And then Dr. Copper is like using the defibrillator, and like the Thing, like his mouth like opens up in his stomach and it like swallows his arms. Again, like this is very much body horror. It's so grotesque in every it's the best way possible though. Like a lot of body horror is gross for the sake of being gross.
Yeah, thank you, later Saw movies.
Yeah, pretty much. I really like this one because yes, it's gross, but it's like not tasteful isn't the right word, but tasteful. If that makes sense.
I get what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is grotesque, but it helps. Like the grotesqueness of this film helps the film as opposed to just being gross for the sake of being gross.
Like it just shows how much of how powerful the Thing is, and just like how intense it is when the Thing takes over somebody and all that. Can just like really make you fear it.
Yes, exactly. So Dr. Copper's doing these like chest compressions. He's got the defibrillator, and he like pretty much a cavern opens up inside of Norris's stomach, and just swallows his arm. So Dr. Copper dies. Norris gets burnt to death, and we see like the spider thing like start to crawl away from his head, which also like super cool shot.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this the part where like the dude's body is opened up and all that kind of reminds me of like there are a good amount of similarities to Alien here, and like that is like where like in Alien when the alien was literally like comes out from inside. I forget who it was in Alien, but the alien like literally was like growing inside of the dude and then like goes out of his stomach and chest like kind of like he did here. So that was kind of a similarity I noticed a little bit.
Yeah, it was showing John Carpenter like we from the very little research that I did do, he took a lot of inspiration after seeing Alien, which makes sense. Like they're both movies about aliens killing humans.
Yeah,
who are doing like from this very broad story point, they're almost the same story. Like as broad as you can get, Alien and the Thing have the same story.
Yeah. If you talk about it in super vague terms, yeah.
Yeah, just from a premise point, like the inciting story, it's people doing research, the alien infects one of them and it goes
Nate, you good? You cut out.
Oh, sorry. So what I said. Sorry, none of you guys started talking.
Oh,
but yeah, I don't know what's going on. But so what I said was like the starting point for Alien and the starting point for The Thing are almost the same thing.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's true.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, couldn't you make the claim that if you look at it with that broad of terms, 90% of horror movies are the same because it's people get trapped somewhere and then something starts killing them.
Well, no,
Yeah,
so I'm not
and
looking at
then
it. I'm not looking at it that broad.
Yeah.
What I said was like it's people doing research. An alien infects one of them, and then the story goes from there. That's
Okay.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
I'm
because I
picking
mean,
up
you
what you're
could,
saying.
yeah, you could be like, oh, in all horror movies and stuff or whatever, you get a group of people and then they all die, and there's the main character at the end that has to like beat the whatever evil thing there is, or maybe they lose. Who knows?
Yeah, I wasn't talking that vague.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more, but yeah,
I got you.
It's very similar to Alien from the start of the movie. Like obviously, it has differences as the films go on, respectively. But the very start of the plot is very similar for both films.
Yeah, I do like this one. I mean, I like Alien, but I like this. I really like this one more. I think I gave Alien like an 8 out of 10, so I still like it, but this one's on
Alien's
the
good. Alien is good.
Alien is a solid little flick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they do the blood, so they get to, I forget what room in the outpost they were in. It doesn't really. Everybody's tied up except for McCready and Windows, and then obviously Clark is dead because he tried to stab McCready, and Dr. Copper's already dead because he got swallowed by the alien or by the Thing.
Also, callback. Windows kind of looks like Danny Masterson.
Yes, he does. I was thinking that when I was watching the movie.
You're like, holy shit! Don't let any women in the base.
Yikes! I think we're gonna have to cut that part out.
We're gonna cut that part out.
But yeah, so that's when McCready gets the idea to do the blood test, and honestly, this was one of my favorite scenes as well because it just made so much sense. But
Well,
Noah, I know you said you had some things to say about this, so I'll kind of let you take over for this one.
Yeah, this scene just has really everything I love about this movie with how tense it is and like the kind of paranoia I think I said in my review on Letterbox, where it's just like you can never really trust anyone and you're kind of second guessing. Like, and I love how it's just the audience can have a very active role in this, where it's kind of like you can play along in the story trying to be like, oh, like who is who, like oh that guy is infected by the Thing, or the Thing is imitating that guy, whatever you want to however you want to say it, and oh that guy's actually human, and I was kind of doing that throughout, and then the blood test here, it kind of like some people that I thought were like definitely infected by the Thing not being infected is kind of just a nice little like plot twist at times, because this movie is great where it'll give you clues about some people potentially being affected, and then it turns out they're not, and that just continues to just have the sense that you really don't know anything, and that anybody could be that you can't really trust anybody here.
Yeah,
and I just like how like the scene is a pretty slow burn where, and that just like builds attention more whenever McGrady goes on from like blood sample to blood sample here, and another thing I really like is when even the people that are human still look a little nervous, like maybe second guessing if they're infected or not, so they don't even know if they're actually human or not, maybe, because you can so it really great stuff with the acting here in this scene too. Probably my favorite scene of acting in this entire thing.
Yeah. I don't remember. They bring this up in the prequel. I don't remember if it's in the original. The Thing can't have like a metal, right? Like
Yeah, it can't
around it.
replicate metal.
Okay, I didn't remember if they mentioned that in the original, because at the spoilers for the 2011 prequel, at the very like before the final climax, they're in like one of those snow crawler machines, right? And what do you call it? I'm just gonna call him Owen. fucking Uncle Owen. He has an earring in, and the girl's like, "Oh shit, okay, that's how I know you're not a thing." And then when she comes back, he has the earring out, so that's how she knows that he got done dirty. And I didn't remember if that was in the original movie or just the prequel.
It's not in the original movie. I know that just because from when I was doing research, I came across that point of information.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something else in this scene that kind of gives it away that it was Palmer the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So during the scene, you get kind of like a really slow pan of a close up of everybody's face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that's not the thing, so everybody except for Palmer, basically.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the camera pans to them, there's a glare on their eyes, like they have a twinkle in their eye is the best way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I didn't notice this until after the fact because I rewatched the scene, and I saw that Palmer's face, like he's kind of like looking down when it pans to him, so you don't really see his eyes. Whereas everybody else, you get a really clear shot, and they have that very distinct like gloss in their eye. Whereas Palmer's face is dark, and the lighting doesn't. They can't really see much of his face.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was like really cool storytelling there, because it's giving you what I like about this film is it's kind of like a predecessor to Scream almost, from like the murder mystery aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
where they're giving you clues along the way, and like if you can figure it out beforehand, good on you. But like they're gonna tell you at the end anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like very very rudimentary. Like it's very I can't think of the word I want here, but it's very like watered down compared to Scream, because obviously the whole climax is at the end where they reveal who the killer is.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in The Thing, it's usually the scene that we're watching where they reveal who it was. But I thought it was like a really cool predecessor to that, to where we kind of like have to figure it out ourselves, or just wait until they tell you.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so I really enjoyed this scene as well, because when and this is like it calls back to the previous scene when the spider head thing started crawling away, and the Creedy's like, oh, this thing doesn't operate in one body; it can like separate its body into different parts of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really cool. And then
Mm-hmm.
after they find out that it was Palmer eats windows, and they have to burn windows as well.
You know, for a second there when you said that, I forgot that that Windows was the dude's name. So I just like envisioned somebody literally eating a window.
That is so fair. But yeah, so they have to burn windows too, and then at that point, based off the previous blood test, they know everybody's human.
Mm-hmm.
So they leave the outpost, like the main outpost base, and they go to Dr. Blair to give him the blood test to figure out if he's a thing or not. And Dr. Blair's not there. They find this spaceship underneath the ice, under his little shack thing. They blow it up, and then Knowles, I believe it was, sees Childs like running away from the base,
Mm-hmm.
and then they pretty much decide like, hey, we're not making it out of here. So they go back, they blow up the base. Knowles and Gary, they die, quote unquote. We don't technically see it on
Possibly.
screen. We don't see it on screen, but
Knowles leaves the movie, so maybe they'll make a sequel one day where it's like a Knowles and Gary buddy cop movie.
the nice guys with Knowles and Gary.
The nice things.
The nice
Nice
thing.
things.
Yeah, so we don't technically see them die on screen, so I guess it's left up in the air, but I think it's pretty safe to say that they're dead.
Mhm.
And then McCready blows up the big thing monster, which I'm gonna rant on this for a little bit. I hate that we see the thing's true form. I hate it.
That's fair.
I brought this up when we kind of talked about the prequel a little bit. A lot of the appeal to the movie comes from the mystery aspect of we don't know what's doing this to us. Yes, we know it's not human, but we don't know what it is. And I think just seeing the thing monster at the end, it just kind of takes some of that away. It's still the movie is still great. The movie is still great. That's one small instance doesn't ruin the movie.
Yeah.
But what I love these mystery horror movies is we never see the monster. A good example is Bird Box, I believe it's called, with Sandra Bullock.
This is the first time I've ever heard somebody use Bird Box as a good example.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did that movie suck?
That movie is not good. But what I do love about that movie is we never know what's causing the killings. We never see it. And that I love the mystery aspect of stuff like that.
Another movie where this pisses me off, just to talk about this whole thing of seeing a monster is. Did you guys ever see Smile?
No, I haven't, but
I adore the first 80% of that movie. And then when you see the monster, it goes off the rails for me. Because the thing with Smile is it's kind of this Have you guys seen It Follows? Is it It Follows? I think it's It Follows.
Ryan, you're
I
the
don't know.
horror movie guy here. Me and Noah aren't much on horror movies.
I do not watch horror movies at all.
Okay. So the way Smile works is it's like a curse and it infects you, and then within a week you kill yourself in front of somebody and then pass the curse on to them. So it's very much like a manifestation of trauma and grief, right?
Mhm.
Which is a really cool idea, and it's something you don't see. But then they show the monster as a physical representation of that, and just kind of ruins the whole thing. So I definitely get that, not wanting to see the actual monster.
Yeah, I feel like it is a little different for this because it is a physical threat, like a mystical or a supernatural threat. But
Yeah,
I
that's true.
digress. I still don't like it. It's my one gripe about this movie is the fact that we see if that's your one gripe is that you see the monster at the end, you know you've done a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry. Go ahead.
I guess for me, I didn't really. That wasn't something I hated or anything, but I can definitely see where you're coming from with that, and it just didn't really affect me too much. I didn't really think anything of it, but it definitely. But you are right. It definitely does take a little bit away from kind of that mystery aspect of it, which is the best part of this movie for me.
Yeah, it doesn't ruin the movie whatsoever. It's it's just something that I saw. I guess I get that they need to have that big climactic final confrontation between the main character and the monster. I get it. It's an 80s horror movie. It was the industry standard at the time.
Yeah.
I just from it being a mystery, as much as I've been calling this a body horror movie, it's also very, very much secondarily a murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it that it was a physical threat that was killing them the whole time. It doesn't ruin the movie. It's just the one thing I didn't like in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get to the final scene, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, where Childs randomly appears again. McCready has his bottle of booze, and they're just waiting to see what happens. So I have my own thoughts on this, but I really want to know what you guys have to say about this.
I mean,
Just
love
from
this scene.
just from I know the big this is the ambiguity of the movie. The movie's ending. Nobody knows who the thing is. So I want to know what you guys think.
I mean, I know who the thing is because I wrote the screenplay, but but part of me loves the ambiguity of this ending. Part of me hates it.
Elaborate.
Which this is
Yeah.
the only thing I really have any grievances with the movie is part of me thinks it's super cool that they had the restraint to not have this final climactic battle where there's like the one survivor and you know how it ends and happy ending to the some extent at least. But part of me also kind of wants there to be a conclusion, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's a cliffhanger that never really gets paid off, which is fine, but also leaves me wanting more, you know?
Right.
Which like I think the video game is honestly like perfect. And
Yeah,
it was
it's an ending to the story that you didn't get that you got.
yes. And it was long enough away to where you can like far enough away from it to where you can disregard it if you want to. You can say it's not canon. Just like the Star Wars movie. Just like the non-canon Star Wars movies.
Yep. The Disney fan fictions.
I see what you're saying. I don't disagree. I love the ambiguity because
Mhm.
one of my favorite movies of all time is Inception,
Mhm.
and that's another ambiguous ending where it's up to the audience to decide what happens. Same with American Psycho.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I I love ambiguous endings because it helps me leave the movie with something, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. I
Like
think.
I can think about
Sorry.
the movie more after I'm done watching. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just had something else
No,
to
no,
add.
you're good.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, it leaves more to the viewer, so like you could talk about the movie after the fact, and you're not just
Mhm.
talking about what happened in the movie. You're talking about what could happen after, and that's what I
Mhm.
love about films that have ambiguous endings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes ambiguous endings can be. It's kind of it's very hard to do one well, and I think there's a lot of them that I think that are not done very well. But I think here it's done very well, and it's just the whole part again, the mystery, paranoia element that I love the most about this, and it kind of just again leaves you with like, oh, who is who, and are these guys the thing, or are they actually human, or like what's going on here? And it keeps you thinking more and having that sense of paranoia even after the film is done. So I personally really love the ending and those final lines too. I think were well written.
Yeah. So along with that, I want to know, Noah, who do you think? Like, what do you think happens? Like, do you think one of them is the thing? Neither of them are the thing. Both of them are the thing.
I don't know. So yeah, I just got done watching this before we recorded. Like pretty much I followed a Ryne. But I think I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, I don't think it's McGrady because McGrady literally like blew up the actual thing in like its final form. So I don't think if it has to be somebody, I don't think it's him. So if one of them is truly the thing, I think it would be Childs, but both of them might not be. But if I had to put my foot down, I would say Childs might be the thing.
Yeah, that's what I think. And there's one piece of evidence that that kind of like shows me that it was Childs the whole time.
Mhm.
So early on in the movie, we get like kind of like a throwaway scene almost where it's like, hey, we shouldn't share rat cut out. Sorry, can you guys hear me now? Sorry, I just
Yes.
cut
Yeah.
out again. So yeah, there's a scene where it's like, don't share rations. Everyone prepare your own food because the thing can infect you with saliva. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like a throwaway ish scene because the line came from Fuchs who died,
Mhm.
but at the end, McCready kind of like hands his bottle of booze over to Childs, and like Childs is like, oh yeah, knowing that because he, as the Thing, he knows like, oh, McCready's probably going to drink this too, so he can infect him. Because we heard McCready say, everybody make your own rations. And Childs, like, before Childs was the Thing, we knew, like, he was probably the most paranoid out of everybody. So he wouldn't just up and go against, like, the regulation that they just put into place about not sharing food or drink. That's why I think it was Childs.
I disagree with that. I think the reason,
and I know why you disagree, because it's fucking the video game tells you otherwise.
No, not even that. But I just think that the reason they share that bottle is because they both kind of realize they're fucked.
That's fair.
They're sitting in Antarctica with no warmth, and they're like, "All right, yeah, we're kind of fucked."
Yeah,
that's fair, I guess.
But yes, the video game also does say that neither of them were.
Yeah, which is like, as a fan of this movie, I'm not looking at the video game. I'm looking at what happens in the movie.
Too bad,
honestly.
Too bad John Carpenter says you have to.
I like the idea of it, of one of them being the Thing, though, is like the Thing is like still not gone and it's still spreading and all that. I really like that idea, and just that type of ending right there, instead of just, oh, neither of them are. I think I don't know. I feel like it's cooler to have one of them be the Thing.
Yeah, I agree, and I love the fact that we don't know.
Yeah.
Nate? Do you know how the game ends?
I don't know how it ends. I know that you find Childs dead, frozen, and that McCready shows up in a helicopter at some point.
That's how the game ends. He picks you up in a helicopter. It really reminded me of, I know we've been talking about Resident Evil a lot recently. It reminds me of the end of Resident Evil 7 when Chris shows up and he's like, I'm Redfield. It just reminds me of that.
That's hot.
It's like the exact same moment.
That is pretty cool. So yeah, that was The Thing.
Good movie. Good movie.
Yeah, good movie. As far as like horror movies go in our month of horror, I've like, not to toot my own horn, but I think I picked a great start.
You did.
But yeah, if you guys want to do it, we'll get into some final. Yeah, I'll go last just because it was my movie, so I want to hear you guys.
Noah, you want to hit first since me and Nate have done more talking than you?
Yeah. So, yeah, I absolutely love this movie. So it was my first watch. I think I already said that. And I normally don't watch horror movies that much. Usually I don't really like them that much, not just because I'm too scared or anything like that. It's just I usually don't think they're that well made. But this one is extremely well made. It's very tense, and I love the sense of mystery and paranoia. Like it does kind of play as a murder mystery at some moments, which is really cool. And I think there's a lot of great performances, and the script is very well written. I think the pacing is great. This movie, I mean, it's not really long. It's only an hour and 48 minutes, but it still absolutely flies by. And partly because I was just so engaged in the story. I mean, I think the first like 20 or 30 minutes is a little bit of a slow burn, but after that, it absolutely picks up and is for the last like hour of the film, I was fully engaged and just completely lost myself in the story, which is what a film should do, is just make you forget about everything else around you and just have you completely engaged in the story. And this is what this movie did for me. And yeah, so overall, I give it 9.5 out of 10, and 4.5 stars in letterbox. And I mean, I that is closer to what would be 5 stars. But the way I do my reviews on letterbox is like, I only give things that are like above like a 9.7 of 5 stars, like very close to a 10, because I like to give my 5 stars very exclusive. So this is like right on that edge of almost being to a 5 stars. So that's how highly I think of this movie.
Like, you save 5 stars for movies like 12 Angry Men.
Yeah. 12 Angry Men, I think I gave like a 9.8 or something. I didn't give it quite that perfect 10. There's only like 4 or 5 movies I've given like that perfect 10.
12 Angry Men.
Shut up! You haven't even seen the movie. Don't disrespect 12 Angry Men, all right? We got to do a 12 Angry Men episode someday.
I'll watch it eventually. It's on my letterbox list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, what do we got? What do you got for us?
I gave this movie going back, I'm gonna raise this score retroactively. I gave this movie an 8.3, which seems super low. I don't know. Did I give it an 8.3? I think I gave it like an 8.4. What did I give this fucking?
You gave it an 8.3.
Okay, that's low. I don't know why I gave it such a low score. I was tweaking it. I was on my lunch break yesterday, writing this review. I'm gonna give this movie an 8.7.
W.
I like it a lot, obviously. Don't like it quite as much as you guys just because some of the stuff with like the ambiguity. But it's a great movie. Great atmospheric horror movie. Amazing special effects. Yeah, if you want to get into special effects, fucking watch this movie first. This is like the peak of the peak of practical effects. Except for Dark Crystal, which sucks.
Yeah, that movie sucks. But like again, like it's Jim Henson, so
the Dark Crystal heads are really gonna attack me in the comment section.
Yeah, don't let the odd ones out fans find you.
Oh no, they're gonna kill me. Oh fuck, we live in the same state. He might kill me.
Rip. Well, if Ryan's out on the episode next week, you'll know why.
I am not missing Hereditary. I will come back from the grave. Is that the movie he always talks about, the Dark Crystal? I thought it was fucking the Labyrinth.
It's both. Labyrinth is another good one. It has a lot of good practical effects.
I don't like the Labyrinth.
I don't like David Bowie, so
yeah, it's kind of weird.
So yeah, Ryan. Anything else you want to add before I get into my final thoughts here?
I'm gonna give this a certified good movie.
You know, this movie's decent, but Going Overboard is just a cinematic masterpiece. I don't think anything's ever going to compare.
The Going Peak?
Peak.
Yeah, this one I would like to retitle it The Mid.
The Mid.
Wait, let me talk about the ending real quick. Maybe the real thing was the friends we made along the way. You know?
I mean, or the friends that we had to burn to death along the way.
Rest in peace, 4th member of the Uncut Version podcast who sadly died shortly before the filming of our first episode.
What if we made a new game that combined The Thing and Among Us, and it was named Among the Things?
Among the Things.
Among the Things. The Things Among Us.
No. Just The Thing Among Us.
Guys, what if we made a game about The Thing, but we put it on a spaceship and we made it these funny guys wearing spacesuits that had short legs, and like you have to complete tasks, and one person is the killer and they're among them.
I think that's already a game.
No, there's no way that's a game.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I made it.
No,
what? Really?
Dude,
yeah, it's a game called Among Us. It's been
out
for a few years now. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. Worked hard on it.
Oh,
what?
God.
Dude, no.
All right.
Just turned into brain rot real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on from this before I lose more brain. Yeah. So for me, obviously, I picked this movie. This is my favorite horror movie. I've sung my praises. I mean, yeah, maybe Hereditary will take it.
It will.
You've talked a lot of game about it. If it's not as good as you're saying, I'm gonna you.
I don't get afraid at horror movies. Hereditary is the only movie that scared the shit out of me. Like I couldn't sleep the next night.
That makes me happy because I don't get scared at horror movies either. I just don't watch them just because the only time I watch them is around Halloween time. That's a month out of the year. And it's usually the same set of like 10 horror movies.
It's all 10 Halloween movies.
Okay. I'd rather. Okay, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence.
You know, should I actually try to watch every single Halloween movie besides number 3 because it doesn't even have Michael Myers in it? I think I should. I think I should.
No.
I
think you shouldn't.
We're watching
I would suggest
for the Halloween special.
If you were going to watch a full series of horror movies,
I don't think I need to watch Halloween like right before the Halloween episode though, because that's a movie that I've watched a bunch. So it's like,
yeah,
I can watch it earlier in the month than that. It's not really like it's a movie I need to refresh my mind about because I watch it every year.
That's fair.
If you're going to watch a series of horror movies, watch Scream because at least all those movies are decent.
Nah, but the whole
Scream 4.
The whole point
Even
of this is to go on a generational run of terrible movies.
Even
I mean,
Scream 4, which I know Nate hates, is better than like the worst Halloween movies.
I think I've only watched Halloween 1, 2, and 4, and then only like the first of the new trilogy.
Well, you watched all the good ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, actually, that was the whole point of watching those ones because those are the only ones that are actually like well received. Actually, isn't there one that's actually like also decent, like Halloween H2O or some people like?
That really good. That one's good, but it's Scream with Michael Myers. So it's a Scream copy.
Well, at least it's like watchable.
I mean, yeah. Well, if you're gonna copy something, at least copy the greatest horror franchise ever.
What if I just watched like all the horror franchises?
Every single one?
Yeah, just every single one.
You might lose your mind.
Bro's gonna tweak when he gets to the Puppet Master franchise.
Or
nah, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it when I get to Jason X.
Oh god, Jason X! I'm so not excited to watch that.
I'm so excited to watch that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna get into my final thoughts here before we start going off on more tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie. We've all three of us we've sung our praises to the practical effects in this movie, and like everything about this movie, like from the effects to the story. Like, no, I know you said like the first 20 to 30 minutes is a slow burn. I feel like it's like a necessary slow burn though. So I feel like a lot of horror movies are just from the jump, just kill, just right off the get go. And I like how this kind of sets up a little bit about the threat that they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's how a lot of older movies are, especially like in the horror genre, where it's like a slow burn to start, and then they and then you start getting into it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a slow burn and a movie just being fucking boring. And this is like a good slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's a necessary slow burn.
That's why I use the term slow burn instead of just it's boring. Mm-hmm. Like it's not 2001: A Space Odyssey or anything.
Oh, but yeah, so everything about like I know I have my gripe about seeing the monster at the end. Like if that's my one gripe about the movie, then the movie did a great job being a movie. Even like the score, so we didn't talk about this at all, but like kind of like the theme where it's kind of just like these 3 or 4 just overarching notes and they're just like playing them on like a piano. Like it really builds that tension. The whole movie, ever since from when we first get the first shot in that kennel to the very end, it's tense the whole way out or the whole way through. Yeah, I love this. I love this movie. It's my favorite horror movie. Give it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd, 9.2 out of 10. Absolutely, go watch this. It's 100% a classic.
Yeah, I mean, it's no going overboard, but it'll be worth a watch.
It's no going overboard. It's no Jason X. It's no The Room.
Oh yeah, definitely not The Room. The Room is literally the greatest piece of cinema ever made.
It's no Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh my gosh.
This movie is no what the fuck is his name? Oh my god. Sorry, I fucked up the joke.
Good going, Ryan.
This movie
That's fine.
is no foray into the world of Shecky Moskowitz, but it's an alright film. Who the fuck named somebody Shecky? If my mom named me that, I'd probably just kill myself.
Yeah, that's a bad name.
Yeah. Well, when I heard that, I was like, "Is that actually this dude's name?" When I was watching that.
That's like if you did like a Jewish name generator, that's what you'd get.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Oh yeah, do you guys have anything else you want to add about the thing before we start brain rotting ourselves again?
No,
Nah.
not really. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Elite thumbnail on this video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Best
Oh yeah.
thumbnail in uncut version history.
Yeah. Go check this one out. Especially if you haven't seen it already. Actually, if you've made it through here, don't watch it because
Yeah, I don't know why.
if you watch this episode without watching the movie, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, I don't know why you
Yeah.
watch an almost 2-hour podcast on a movie you haven't seen, but
Yeah. You know, like usually
If
when
you
you're
made it
looking
here,
up reviews,
thanks for watching.
yeah, but if you're looking up reviews for a movie before watching it, usually you'll be like, all right, let me go to like just like non-spoiler, like 10-minute reviews or something, you know, like the standard ones. But okay,
Yeah, I think that just about wraps it up for this week.
just to let you guys know, here, let me count. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Joker 2 is at a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, making it the lowest rated DC movie ever.
That's bad.
The only ones that are worse is Black Adam, which Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. I actually enjoyed that movie. I went and saw it in theaters. It wasn't horrible.
It has Amber Heard, so it is terrible.
No, that's the
Yeah.
one she is in that one, yeah. She's barely in it though. Fucking barely.
It doesn't matter.
not too much.
Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice and The Suicide Squad 2016, brought to us by the terrorist David Ayer.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
That's
some
bad.
pretty terrible company that they're in. Sucks for Joaquin Phoenix too. Dude's a great actor.
Yeah, I don't know why they made it a musical. I don't hate musicals, but I don't know why they fucking made it a musical.
I also don't hate musicals, but I hate that they made Joker a musical.
I heard somebody say the Batman Brave and the Bold Music Meister episode was better than this shit.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that's just gonna wrap it up. Just about wrap it up for this episode of the pod. Tune in next week. We're gonna watch Hereditary,
and we're
with
gonna have a
Ryne.
special guest.
Oh, special guest.
Yeah, my stepbrother.
Oh, all right.
Ooh.
So tune in for that. We got Nightmare on Elm Street coming later in the month. Jason X, which we're all super excited to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna watch the first 2 Halloween movies. So tune in for all those. Thank you guys for listening in. If you made it to the end, go watch this movie if you haven't already. If you watch this whole thing without watching the movie,
What the fuck is wrong with you?
yeah, you should still watch the movie, but for next time, don't watch the review without watching the movie.
Exactly. Except for Fury.
Fuck off.
Alright, well anyways, it's my 21st birthday, so I'm gonna go drink alcohol.
Yeah, happy birthday to Ryne. We'll see you guys next week in Hereditary. Thanks for listening.